Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I'm driving a 1978 Lincoln Continental Town Car. Up front is a 7.5 liter V8 and down below is a 3-speed automatic transmission. Guys, I'm so excited to be driving this here Continental. First of all, if you guys are fans of the TV show Schitt's Creek, this is actually the car that they drive in the show, which is pretty interesting. I'm a big fan of that show, but also I've never driven anything this large from this era, and I absolutely love it. It's so floaty, it's so boaty, and so let's get into it. Let's get back to that 460 cubic inch engine, also known as a 7.5 liter, also known as a giant hunk of steel from the 70s. It does not produce a whole lot of horsepower. This car does not have a lot of quote unquote get up and go, but it's nice and smooth. You know, cruising on the highway, the owner, Liam, which thank you, Liam, for letting me take out your Continental, it cruises at about 1,800 RPM. It's nice and smooth. That's what this car was all about back in the day. This was peak luxury. This is all nice and smooth. The steering here is super, super light. I mean, I could just use one finger. I'm steering the Titanic with one finger. So the interesting thing about the 7.5 liter is that, yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of horsepower, but the reason for that is because of the emission standards. So in 1973, there was a huge oil crisis here in the States. And so there was a push for not only emissions control, but more fuel efficient vehicles. And so with a 7.5 liter V8, you're not really gonna get great gas mileage. So they turned to emissions controls. They added a bunch of crap to the engine to make it essentially run a lot cleaner, which is great in theory, but it really killed the horsepower in these things. We'll open up the 7.5. Not much is really going on there. Like I said, Beardoot is a 3-speed automatic transmission. Could it use more gears? Yes, however, automatics still weren't super common. They weren't really super thought through like they are today, and so I can't really hate it too much. But the driving experience of this Continental, I mean, even the bumps, it's all so floaty, it's all up in the air. The hood feels like it's in a different area code. This car has the second longest hood ever put on a production vehicle, only bested by the Cadillac Eldorado. It's insane to drive. I really feel like I'm piloting an apartment building. But let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have my speedometer, which is actually horizontal. I really like it. In the upper left, I have fuel, but then I sort of have this speedometer that builds left to right. I really like that. Definitely an older style gauge, and of course, I'm a big fan of it. On the steering wheel, I actually have cruise control options. Yes! This, in 1978, has cruise control options on the steering wheel. The steering wheel is incredibly thin, but I have cruise control options on it. That is amazing. To the right of the steering wheel, I actually have my antenna up and down button, which is really neat. To the left of me, I have my headlight switches, which this does come with the garage door headlights, but very cool style that you just don't see anymore. Garage doors for your headlights? I mean, come on. Then on the door, I actually do have power mirrors. Interestingly enough, for 1978, power windows, and a giant grab handle on the door. I mean, really, very massive. So interestingly enough, with the windows, I actually have a powered smoker's window. So I can actually power lower the smoker's window. That's awesome. I've never seen that in a car. Then moving into the center, I have a nice little clock. I really like it. And then, of course, I have an AM and FM radio with an 8-track player. 2 very simple knobs on the left and right here. And then I have very basic climate controls. Hot, cold, economy vent, which is interesting, on and off. Again, very basic. But it's for the 70s. A vehicle with air conditioning, that was a very nice luxury in the 70s. All the way to the right, I have this beautiful wood dashboard, and it says Lincoln Town Car on it. I absolutely love that. So this isn't actually a Lincoln Town Car. This is a Lincoln Continental Town Car. So the Lincoln Continental was a 2-door, but the Town Car version got the cool roof and 4 doors. Still the same length. The 2-door version was still the same length, but it had 2 less doors, which is just insane. So this is a Lincoln Continental Town Car. The Town Car actually became its own thing in the 1980s. Down on the floor, I have a button for the brights. So a lot of people don't know that actually Before your bright lights were put on the stalk, it was actually a floor-mounted pedal. That's here in the Lincoln as well. Moving on to the seats. I mean, the seats are ridiculously comfortable. I mean, I'm sitting on a couch. There's no two ways about it. It's incredibly comfortable. Plus, I have a front bench seat, which is really, really neat. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's do a back seat review. All right, so I'm in the back of the 1978 Lincoln Continental Town Car, and it's very spacious back here. I mean, I just have tons of headroom, tons of legroom. The seats, I mean, the seats are just beautifully comfortable. They are couches. I keep saying that they're better than they're clouds. They're these red clouds that have somehow been bolted down to a chassis. I don't know how Ford did it, but they somehow bolted clouds into their car. Absolutely amazing. I don't actually get shoulder belts back here, which is interesting. I do have lap belts, but no shoulder belts. And then, of course, I have these nice little side windows. This is luxury. This is just in the 70s with one of those long, weird-looking cigarettes. This is cool. This is really, really cool. And this is where you want to be in a Continental, because you don't have to worry about your 19-foot nose hitting someone. You just get to hang out back here. Beautiful. Now we got to talk about the looks of the Continental, and wow, I mean, it looks Continental. Not only that it spans multiple continents, but it just looks grand. It looks special. It looks like if you were to roll up in one of these, man, you had important business to do that day. I tell you what, I don't know much in this world, but I know that the Lincoln Continental really set the tone for what a luxury car is, at least back in the 60s and 70s. And back in the 70s, luxury meant huge, because oh my God, this is so ginormous to drive. But it's also so light. The steering is, that's the weird thing, is that it's so long, but the steering is so light, it's so easy to drive. It's intimidating, but it's easy. It's like if a shipping Freightliner had radar cruise control. Overall, I have to say that driving one of these, it's just an overall experience. I mean, I can't play it here because I'll get copyrighted, but if you watch the video, turn off the sound and turn on Spotify or whatever you listen to Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. It just fits this car so well. And what's funny is that Staying Alive is also the mantra of this engine, because it really feels like this engine is just trying to stay alive. I mean, 7.5 liters. This is not a small engine. But at the end of the day, I'm so thrilled to be driving this Continental right now for two reasons. First of all, it's such a 70s timepiece. The second reason why I'm just over the moon to be driving this car right now is because I am currently just outside Detroit, Michigan. Motown, baby. And it just feels so right. You know, I've spent the last 24 hours in Detroit. I went to the Ford Museum. I'll show some video here. Definitely, if you're a Ford fan, please go check out that museum. I mean, it's so impressive. It's amazing. But this is where this car was supposed to be. Detroit. Motown. Big block V8. Comfy. I mean, you could smell the gasoline from 35 feet away with this thing. It's dirty, and yet so cool, so different. This was when Motown was in its heyday, when Detroit was the absolute powerhouse behind the automotive industry. And they were cranking these suckers out. This is something you won't see overseas. A 7.5 liter V8. A disgusting bore that's beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Liam for letting me take out his Lincoln Continental Town Car. This is just the coolest. I mean, it's so 70s. And the beautiful thing is that Liam's dad bought it, and then his brother drove it for 2 years. Liam himself has been driving it for a year and a half. This is still just a car to him. I love it. It's just the family truckster. Awesome. Just awesome. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.